Hey, Todd Usher with Addison Homes, and today we're going to talk about the right way to build a concrete front porch. This concrete front porch is on a house that we did not build, and it's kind of an example of not the best way to do it. So this concrete is poured most likely over backfill, either dirt or gravel, but often in our market they'll use dirt. And we're also in a high termite infestation area. So one of the worst things we could do is give termites an easy path to come up through the dirt and get into the wood of our building, especially when it's concealed. So the termite inspector can't see this. And what code requires, which again, code is the minimum allowable standard, but all that code requires to correctly flash between that dirt and the concrete and the wood is thin metal flashing. So as you can see here, this thin metal flashing is code compliant, but it's the only thing separating the wood structure of the home from the concrete, which is moisture wicking, and from the dirt below. In fact, this aluminum will typically break down over time and will eventually do nothing to protect the wood structure from the building. The other thing here is this flashing, this aluminum flashing, is not integrated into the drainage plane of the building. So this particular house is using the zip sheathing. That sheathing is taped at the seams, but this flashing needs to be integrated into the zip wall so that if water gets behind the siding and moves down this wall, that it will then be kicked out onto this aluminum flashing and out of the building. When we build our concrete front porches, we take a few different approaches to make sure that we're not going to have water issues in the future. After all, the most sustainable house we can build is the house that lasts the longest, so it's got to be durable. So on our houses, you'll see, number one, we've got the foam sheathing on the exterior, that exterior insulation. And then this is a crawl space house. We actually have an open foundation underneath this concrete. So when we lay out our foundation on a crawl space and we're gonna have a concrete front porch, we plan for that concrete to be suspended over a corrugated steel pan. And that allows this underside space to be accessible for the termite inspector, who eventually is going to come and make sure this house continues to be termite free. One of the key elements for a termite company to insure a house against termites, and that is in the form of a bond, is that they have to have access to be able to inspect for termites. Common approach in this market is to fill this porch with dirt or gravel and then pour concrete on top of that, which eliminates any possible access to the underside to inspect for termites. So that's kind of strategy one. When we're doing a concrete front porch on a crawl space, we're going to suspend a metal pan and we're going to have an accessible crawl space area under here. It's not going to be part of our conditioned crawl space, but it's going to be accessed through the conditioned crawl space. That's part one. Part two is we need to slope the concrete positively away from the house, away from the structure. We don't want blowing rain and water to come close to any of the wood framing of this house. Concrete's porous, so we don't use metal flashing. We use a peel and stick butyl rubber flashing, which is going to last for years and years and years and going to keep this porous concrete from transferring any water through capillary action into the wood framing of the house. Then the concrete's sloped. So we have a brick row-lock, this brick decorative perimeter on our front porch. That's what we pour the back of the concrete up against. And then up at the house, we have a zero-step entry, and we set that height to be higher than the brick row-lock. Our target and the standards that we build to require that we have at least a 1/4 inch of fall for every foot of depth of the front porch. That gives us positive slope away from the house. Therefore, if blowing rain gets into this porch, it's going to drain right out and away from the house. This brick row lock extends all the way around, even at the edge of the porch. And what that means is we slope away from the porch, from the house out, and then down here at the side, we have to slope off to the side. We want water shedding away on all sides. So, step 1, we've got access underneath for the termite inspector. Step 2, robust butyl rubber flashing between the foam board and framing and anywhere that we have contact with concrete. Step 3, positive slope away from the house. That's how you build a durable concrete front porch. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on the next videos to come.